Welcome back YouTubers to my channel, An Everyday Life of an Aspie. If you're new to my channel, I'm Aspie. I'm all about creating mental health and awareness versus just sharing my life stories with Asperger's syndrome, and also just every other diagnosis that comes in the territory of Asperger's syndrome, just to get to know me as a person behind the mask of the diagnosis. Despite that, like I said so many times before, I can't stress it enough. Many people may think Asperger's syndrome and autism for people that has it is the same for everyone, but just to bear in mind, it's not. Everyone is different on that spectrum scale, regardless where they're at of their everyday life and stage in life, so to speak. So in order for do, also I create some, pills of wisdom and encouragement for you all for the ones that maybe are down and out, just to hopefully uplift you all and inspire you, to motivate you all in a way that you guys will be able to know what's going down. So bear in mind also, just before I give you the lowdown on what's going on, that some of these tips and advice that I may be sharing, regardless what they are, and these everyday topics that I'm sharing, maybe are value to you, basically, or not. Just a matter of if you feel they're not, just respect them and actually know that it might be for someone out there that is struggling and needs to hear it regardless. Some of these tips and advice will be based on my life experiences. This is my life training on youth line of what I did so far, 2 years ago, as I shared. And some of the tips and advice will be based on my observations, and also just by people that I've been, socialising with in the past and present, be it outside in the real world here or just on the social media sites of the groups that I'm in. So in all further ado, guys, basically, if you're following me right now, I'm doing all the ADHD and series to try and finish up right now, and hopefully some of these will be finished by, hopefully, as I said, 2 weeks time, which I'm predicting it should be the end of the month. But if some of these topics that you haven't heard of or seen, basically, that you are still needing tips and advice or what have you from me, just feel free to comment, or even just private message me on AspieAnswersAll just to let me know, so that you guys will be included in some bits and pieces. So in this one, I'm talking about today helpful adult ADHD people managing symptoms and getting focused tips. So as we know, basically, when you have ADHD and ADD, sometimes it can be really overwhelming and stressful for most of us, and that everything comes on top of us, from paying the bills on time to keeping up with work, of the busy schedule that's in work, of all these deadlines that need to be met, and the social demands from basically family, friends, as well as work, can be overwhelming and a bit stressful for many of us that may struggle with ADHD. But it is, however, possible to get focused and turn this chaos and mess into calmness and harmony by taking advantage of some self-help techniques that I'm going to bring out to you today to become more productive, organised, and take control of your life and improving your sense of self-worth. So what you need to know about managing your ADHD of your adult one, especially as we know, as I said, it can present everyday challenges across all areas and spectrum of your life, from getting organised at home, reaching your potential at work, regardless of what level of the ladder you're at of work. You probably are pushing yourself. You're just the junior officer, clerk in the office, and you're trying to reach to be in the managerial role, and the list goes on. You know that it can be tough on your health and both your personal and on the job relationships, as well as basically just relationships in general with your friends and family, as well as maybe your loved one if you've got one. Your symptoms may lead to extreme procrastination, trouble making deadlines, and impulsive behaviour. In addition, you may feel that friends and family doesn't even understand what you're up against, when you feel that you're just closing in on them, or they just feel that they're against you and everything else. All these negativity starts building up, and eventually in time. Eventually there are skills, as I said, that can help you learn to get help with your symptoms of ADHD, to keep them under control and at bay. You can improve your daily habits, learn to recognise them and use them as your strengths, and develop techniques that can help you work more efficiently, increasing organisation, interact better with others. Change won't happen overnight, though. However, you've got to remember this. Obviously, like anything, things take time. Hopefully these strategies that I'm here today will hopefully be of value to you, and that with these, to be in mind, that it will require patience and, perhaps most importantly, a real positive attitude. But many people tend to think that like I said, that some of these tips may not work, but then again, like I said, just keep trying some of these techniques, and if some of them don't work, just move on to the next one that I'm introducing to you all today. anyway, just bear in mind before I do these self-help tips, there have some self-help myths that has been, misconceived about, helping yourself with adult ADHD. And maybe one of them that's holding on to these misconceptions. So this is like myth medication for the first one of the myth is the only way to solve my ADHD. Okay, the fact is, while medication can help some people manage the symptoms of ADHD that I'm addressing today, it is not a cure or a fix, nor is it the only solution. If used at all, it should be taken alongside with other treatments and management strategies that is put into place, or even just some self-help strategies. Another myth number 2 is having ADHD means I'm lazy or unintelligent, so I won't be able to help myself. Fact is here, the effects of ADHD may have lead to you or others labeling you this way, but the reality of it is, or the truth of the matter of it all, is that you are not unmotivated or intelligent. You have a disorder that gets in the way of your sort of normal everyday functions. In fact, adults with ADHD often have to find very smart ways to compensate for their disorders. Myth: a health professional can solve all my ADHD problems. Fact: health professionals can help you manage symptoms of ADHD, but they can only do so much for you. You're the only one living with the problem, so you're the only one who can make the most difference in overcoming them if you choose to. Myth: ADHD is a life sentence. I'll always suffer from its symptoms. Fact: while it is true that there is no cure for ADHD or many other mental health disorders and the like, there is a lot you can do to reduce the problem and its root causes. Once you become accustomed to using these strategies to help yourself, you may be able to find that managing your symptoms will become second nature to you. Okay, tip number 1 is for this self-help tip is tips for getting organised and controlling the clutter. As we know, basically, people with ADHD can be a bit disorganised, and basically they have a lot of clutter around them and everything else around them. There's just a hallmark trait of it, however, of this inattention and distractibility, making organisation perhaps the biggest challenge adults with the disorder may face in their everyday life. If you have adult ADHD, the prospect of getting organised, whether it be at home, work, may leave you feeling so overwhelmed, stressed out to the point that you're ripping out your hair. However, you can learn to break down tasks into smaller steps and follow a systematic approach to organisation by implementing various structures and routines and taking advantage of such tools, such as daily planners and reminders. You can maintain organisation and control that clutter. Okay, develop structure and neat habits and keep them up. Okay, this is for the tip here. To organise a room, home or office, categorise the objects, deciding which are necessarily to be kept and which are necessarily to be stored or discarded away. To organise yourself, get into the habit of taking notes and writing down lists. As I said before, and one of the tips for managing ADHD, as many of them may go about to do with checklists and everything else in between. So basically with the list, it comes in handy, obviously, so they can just mark off what's done, what needs to be done, the least important, the most important, as well as I shared before. I've also shared time management and procrastination in ADHD adults. I recommend for you guys to check that out if you haven't done so already, to get a better understanding to what I'm saying here. Maintain your newly organised structure with regular daily routines. Okay, tip for number 1 though, create space. Ask yourself what you need to do on a daily basis or what you need, and find storage bins or closets for things you don't. Designate specific areas for things like keys, bills and other items that can be easily misplaced. Throw away things that you don't really need. Number 2, use a calendar app or day planner. As you know that these are effective and they're basically found on your smartphone or your computer tablet. This will help you remember appointments and such deadlines if you are working away from home or in the office or what have you. With electronic calendars, you can also set up automatic reminders so scheduled events don't slip your mind all the time. Number 3, as I said, use lists. Making use of your list of notes can help you to keep track of your regularly scheduled tasks, however, projects, deadlines and appointments. If you decide to use a daily planner, keep all lists of notes inside of it. You'll also have many options for use on your smartphone or computer, such as to-do tasks or task managers, apps. Number 4 or 5 here is deal with it now. As we know, we need to basically avoid this forgetfulness, clutter and procrastination by filing papers, cleaning up messes or returning phone calls not sometime in the near future. If a task can be done in 2 minutes, always do it on the spot rather than putting it off later, because it will let you to forget again if you didn't have those other implemented methods that I just illustrated to you. Tame your ADHD paper trail. If you have adult ADHD, a major part of your disorganisation might be the paperwork. It's endless on hours with this piled or strewn across your kitchen, desk, office, or what have you. Take an afternoon one day to set up a paperwork system that may work for you. Maybe number one, set up a filing system using dividers or separate file folders for different types of documents, such as medical records, receipts, and income statements. Label and colour code your files so that you can find them when you need them in a hurry. Number two, deal with a mail on a daily basis. Set aside a few minutes each day to deal with the mail, preferably as soon as you bring it inside. It helps you to have a designated spot where you can sort the mail and either trash it, file it, or act on it. Number three, go paperless. The more amount that's minimised of the paper you have to deal, the less you have to deal with. Request electronic statements and bills instead of paper copies. You can also reduce junk mail by opting out the Direct Marketing Association's mail preference service. Now, another self-help tip for you guys is managing your time and staying on schedule. Troubles with time management is a common effect of ADHD for the adults. You may frequently lose track of times, deadlines, you start procrastinating, underestimate how much time you need for each task, you find yourself doing things in the wrong order. Many adults with ADHD spend so much time on the one given task known as hyper-focusing, then nothing else gets done. Or just that one particular task that you're focusing doesn't get done. As I said before, maybe you're just staring straight down there with a blank piece of paper. These difficulties can leave you feeling frustrated and make others impatient with you, but there are solutions to help you better manage your time. So here guys, this time management tips for you. As we know, with people with ADHD, especially adults, that has a different perception of how time passes. To align the sense of time with everyone else, use the oldest trick in the book, a clock. Number two, or should we say number one, become a clock watcher. Use a wristwatch or a highly visible wall or desk clock to help you keep track of time when you start a task. Make a note of the time by saying it out loud or writing it down. Number two, use timers. Allot yourself limited amounts of time for each task and use a timer or alarm to alert you when your time is up. For longer tasks, consider setting an alarm to go off at regular intervals to keep you productive and aware of how much time is going by. Number 3, give yourself more time than you think you need. Adults with ADHD are notoriously bad at estimating how long it will take to do something. For every 30 minutes of time you think it will take you to get someplace or completing tasks, give yourself a cushion by adding an extra 10 minutes if need be. Number 4, plan to be early and set up the reminders. Write down appointments for 15 minutes earlier than they really are. Set up reminders to ensure you leave on time and make sure you have everything you need ahead of time so you're not frantically looking for your keys or phone when it's time to go. Prioritization tips for adult ADHD. Because adults with ADHD often struggle with impulse control, however, and jump from one subject to the next, completing tasks can be difficult and large projects can seem overwhelming. Yet again, to overcome this is tips number 1. Decide what's first. Ask yourself what is the most important task you need to accomplish, and then in order your other tasks that are set after the one that you just asked yourself. Number 2, take things one at a time. As I said before, breaking them down into smaller chunks, and then into easier manageable steps for you when they're broken down. And number 3, stay on task. Avoid getting sidetracked by sticking to your schedule, using a timer to enforce it if necessary. Learn to say no. It's okay to say no once in a while to your peers or whoever, because impulsiveness can lead to adults ADHD to agree to many projects at work, one given at a time, and make too many social engagements. But a jam-packed schedule can leave you feeling overwhelmed, overtired, and affect the quality of work. This is no-brainer for everyone else, though. Turning things down may improve your ability to accomplish tasks and complete them on time, keeping your social dates available and living a healthier lifestyle. Check your schedule first before committing to something new, to your actual appointments. Another one is managing money and bills is another self-help tip here. Money management requires budgeting, planning, and organisation, as we know, for anyone. So for many adults with ADHD, it can be a everyday true challenge. Many common systems of money management don't tend to work for adults with ADHD because they require too much time, too much paper, and too much attention to detail. But if you create your own system that is both simple and consistent, you can get on top of your finances, put a stop to overspending, overdue bills, and penalties for missed deadlines. Okay, get in the driver's seat to control a budget. An honest assessment of your financial situation is the first step to getting budgeting under control. Start by keeping track of every expense, no matter how small, for a month, use 30 days. This will allow you to effectively analyse where your money is going. You may be surprised how much you're spending on unnecessary and impulse purchases. You need a snapshot of your spending habits to create a monthly budget based on your income and needs. Figure out what you can do to avoid straying from your budget, I should say. For example, if you're spending too much at restaurants, you can make an eating and plan, factor in time for grocery shopping and meal preparations. Set a simple money management and paying bill system. Establish an easy, organised system that helps you save documents, receipts, and stay on top of the bills. For, with ADHD, the opportunity to banking on the computer can be the gift that keeps on giving. Organising money online means less paperwork, no messy handwriting, and no misplaced slips. Number 1, switch to online banking. Signing up for the online banking turned the hit almost process of balancing your budget into a thing of the past. Your online account will list all deposits and payments, tracking your balance automatically to the penny every day. You can also set up automatic payments for your regular monthly bills, logging as needed to pay irregular occasional ones. The best part, no misplaced or envelopes or late fees set to you. Number 2, set bill pay reminders. If you prefer not to set up an automatic payment, you can still make the process of bill paying easier with electronic reminders. You may be able to set up text or email through reminders online through your online banking, or can schedule them in your calendar app. Number 3, take advantage of the technology that is available. Free services such as Whatever, Kit, like Mint and Manila can help you keep track of your finances. An account space service can take some time to set up, but once you've linked your accounts, they want to update. Manila consolidates your statements and bills from all your accounts into one place. Mint tracks all your bank account and credit card transactions, also offers budgeting and other financial analysis tools. Both tools can make your financial life easier and quicker. Put a stop to impulse shopping is a brief one I want to say. Impulsive ADHD and shopping can be a very dangerous combination for the both. It can put you in debt and make you feel guilty and ashamed. You can prevent impulsive buys with a few strategic tactics, which is number 1, shop with cash only, leave your checkbook and credit cards at home. Number 2, cut up all but one credit card when you shop, make a list of what you need and stick to it. Number 3, use a calculator to keep a running total when shopping. Hint is one on your cell phone, wink wink. Number 4, stay away from places where you're likely to spend the most money on. Number 5, throw away catalogs as they arrive. Okay, tips for staying focused and productive at work for people with ADHD and ADHD. As we know, we can create special challenges at work. The things you may find toughest: organisation, completion of tasks, staying still, listening quietly, or the very things you're often asked to do all day long. Juggling ADHD and a job can challenge your job is no easy task, but by tailoring your workplace environment, you can take advantage of your strong points while minimising the negative impact of your ADHD symptoms. Okay, get organised at work is tip number 1. Organise your office, cubicle, or desk one manageable step at a time. Then use these follow strategies to stay tidy and organised. Number 1, set aside daily time for organisation. Maybe 5 to 10 minutes a day to clear your desk and organise your paperwork. Experience with storing things inside your desk or bins so that they don't clutter workspace unnecessary. Again, number 2, use colours and lists. Colour coding can be very useful to people with ADHD. Manage forgetfulness by writing everything down. Number 3, prioritise. More important tasks should be done first. Set deadlines for everything, even if they are self-imposed. End distractions is number 2. Let your workmates know you need to concentrate and try the following techniques to minimise the distractions. Number 1, where you work does really matter. If you don't have your own office, you may be able to take your work to an empty office or conference room. If you're in a lecture hall or conference, try sitting close to the speaker and away from people who do mid-chatting. Meetings, I should say. Number 2, minimise external commotion. Face your desk towards a wall and keep your workplace free of clutter. To discourage any interruptions, you could even hang a do not disturb sign on your door. If possible, let voicemail pick up your phone calls and return them later. If noise distracts you, consider noise cancelling headphones or a sound machine. Number 3, save big ideas for later. All those great concepts that keep popping into your head, jot them down on paper for later consideration. Tip number 3, while doing this in the business, is stretch your attention span. As an adult with ADHD, you are capable of focusing. It's just that you may have a hard time keeping that focus, especially when the activity isn't one that you find particularly engaging. Boring meetings or lectures are hard on anyone, but for adults with ADHD especially can be a special challenge. Similarly, following multiple directions can also be difficult for those with ADHD. Using these tips may improve your focus and ability to follow instructions. Number 1, get in writing. If you're attending a meeting, lecture, workshop, or another greeting that requires close attention, ask for an advance copy of the relevant material such as meeting agenda or lecture outline. In the meeting, use the written notes to guide your active listening and note-taking. Writing as you're listening will help you focus on the speaker's words. Number 2, echo directions. After someone gives verbal instructions, say them aloud to be sure you got it right. 3, move around. To prevent restlessness and fidgeting, go ahead and move around at the appropriate times in the right places, as long as you're not disturbing others. Taking a walk, even jumping up and down during a meeting break, for example, can help you pay attention more later. Tip number 4, tips for managing stress and boosting moods. Is due to the impulsivity and disorganization of the accompanying ADHD, you may struggle with erratic sleep, unhealthy eating, or the effects of too little exercise. All issues that can lead to extra stress, bad moods, and feeling out of control of your emotions. Best way to get yourself this safe is to take charge of your lifestyle habits and to create your healthy routines. Eating well, getting plenty of sleep, and exercising can help you stay calm, avoiding mood swings, and in many cases fight off symptoms of anxiety and depression. Healthier habits can also reduce ADHD symptoms like inattention, hyperactivity, and distractibility, while regular routines can help your life feel more manageable. Exercise and spend time outdoors is important. Working out is perhaps the most positive and efficient way to help reduce hyperactivity and inattention from ADHD. Exercise can relieve stress, boost your mood, and calm your mind, helping work off the excess energy and aggression that may help get in the way of your relationships and feeling more stable. Number 1, exercise on a daily basis. Number 2, choose something vigorous and fun that you can stick with, like a team sport or working out with a friend. Number 3, increase stress relief by exercising outdoors. People with ADHD often benefit from sunshine and green surroundings. Number 4, as well as relieving stress, relaxation exercises such as meditation, yoga, or Tai Chi can help you better control your attention impulses. Now, the tip here is getting plenty of sleep for your adult ADHD. Sleep deprivation can increase symptoms of adult ADHD, reducing the ability to cope with stress and maintain focus during the day. Simple changes to your daytime habits can go a long way toward ensuring solid nightly sleep. So tips here are: avoid caffeine late in the day. Number 2, exercise vigorously and regularly, but not within an hour of bedtime. Number 3, create a predictable and quiet bedtime routine. Number 4, take a hot shower or bath just before bed. Number 5, stick to a regular sleep-wake schedule even on weekends. And last but not least, eat right for ADHD. Eating healthily can reduce distractibility, hyperactivity, and decrease stress levels dramatically. So tips here are: number 1, eat small meals throughout the day. 2, avoid sugars as much as possible. 3, eat fewer carbohydrates while increasing your protein intake. So this basically ends the self-managed tips for, adults with ADHD. Hopefully this will help you guys. Give me a like for thumbs up for support, engaging, comment below if I've missed anything that may be of value and use to others. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, AspieAnswersAll. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already for more information and tips of what I'm hoping to adjust to you all. Feel free to share these videos around to family and friends, and do what you love what you do. Until next time, have a great day, and I'll see you all again soon.